A time was hard on the 12th of March when I decided to watch a movie while stuck in traffic on my way home from work. I had seen some promotional material from the absolute behemoth that is Alan Richson, and considering I'm a big fan of the Richard series, I hopped on the bandwagon, hoping this movie would make the next 2 hours in traffic feel like a drive-by.
And you didn't disappoint.
The War Machine tells the story of a man named, actually, we never get to know his real name. So for the sake of this review, we'll call him 81, a means of identification given to him when he joins the Rangers after losing his brother in an army attack. Now, normally, you would expect someone to take time to process that kind of loss, but not our guy, not this walking tank. He's a toxic male. He doesn't give himself any time to heal at all. Instead, he goes straight into joining the Rangers, mainly because it was something his brother always wanted them to do together. During the recruitment tests, however, the higher-ups begin to notice some antisocial tendencies. He barely speaks to anyone during training, keeps to himself almost entirely, and at one point nearly kills himself during one of the drills. Because of this, he's advised to drop out of the program for mental health reasons, and you guessed it, he didn't listen. And he goes off with the remaining would-be Rangers. During the mission to complete the final test, they come across an alien war machine that seems to have no other instinct than to kill. But boy, does it ever. This part of the movie was really unexpected for me, mainly because I didn't watch the trailer. I had no idea that I was walking into what felt like a rehash of the 1980s movie, Predator, as the film literally shifts from a military flick into a full-blown survivor horror. And if I'm being honest, that's the best part of the movie. But before we get into the good, let's talk about the bad. You know, one of the most daring things the director of the original Predator did was drop a bunch of characters into a survival conflict at the very start of the movie with almost no prior background and somehow still make us care about them. A lot of this comes down to the almost anime-like characterization. Everyone has at least one solid trait about them, and they express it in a way that doesn't feel over the top, but still makes them memorable. They feel like that annoying friend we complain about spending time with, but who we also deeply care about. The same can't really be said for the War Machine though, as most of the other characters completely fall flat on their faces. Hell, even the emotional core of the film, the would-be Ranger 7, it feels like they didn't even try to flesh out the other characters. Instead, they put all their emotional eggs into one basket just to make him more sympathizable. The end result is a very artificial feeling of care for the character. Like, I know the movie wants me to care about him, so I guess I'm hoping he doesn't get trampled. The only other major issue I had with the movie was at the beginning of the movie when they showed how he lost his brother to the Taliban, which then leads him to enroll in the Rangers. This segment felt a little bit dragged out and really didn't need that much fleshing out so early. It would have worked much better as a flashback, and honestly, the movie would have started straight from the final test. Thus, it would have added a bit of mystery about the character's motivations and why he's so antisocial. I mean, if we are going to rip off Predator, why don't we rip it off from the face? Aside from those two little criticisms, the rest of the movie is quite entertaining. One thing about this movie is that it doesn't feel like a chore to watch like most movies these days. It grabs you by the balls, even if, genetically speaking, you don't have any. It's gripping and really plays into the terror of what it would look like if people were being chased by a killer robot. That said, I do have a very huge disdain for the over-expressive use of gore later in the film. The use of gore reminded me of watching The Boys, but I think the director did a good job of not making it as cartoonish as the series. The other bright spot of this movie has to be Alan Richson. I have been a huge fan of the guy since I saw the Richard series, and it's lovely to see him finally get a shot as a lead in his own franchise, especially since I know Netflix is definitely going to create a sequel after the success of this movie. And aside from his scene where he was supposed to be crashing out over his brother, which I didn't think was a good take, he really commands the screen on every other occasion. He has definitely mastered the art of the brooding hero, and hopefully after this performance have proven himself a bankable Hollywood lead. And I guess that's that. It's not an original movie, it's not an excellent movie, and it's definitely not Predator. But it's a gripping sci-fi action thriller that you would probably want to see again. Maybe not now, but sometime in the not so distant future, 6.5 out of 10.